Mogadishu stands as a city of contrasts, hope and despair woven into its streets. Today, November 14th, 2025, the skyline is transformed. Cranes rise where ruins once stood, markets buzz, and new roads pulse with life. This visible progress is the result of bold diplomatic moves that have shifted Somalia from failed state to contender. Yet, beneath the surface, a question persists. Is this rebirth real or just a fleeting illusion? Government officials tout debt relief, new security alliances, and diplomatic agility as pillars of a stable future. But critics warn that outside Mogadishu, the government's reach is weak, the military is strained, and Al-Shabaab is resurging. This story explores the paradox: are Somalia's recent triumphs the foundation of a new era, or the prelude to deeper crisis? The answer will shape not just Somalia, but the entire Horn of Africa. For decades, Somalia's crushing debt kept it isolated and starved of investment. In December 2023, President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud's government achieved a breakthrough. $4.5 billion in debt was cancelled, opening the door to global finance. This relief allowed the government to pay civil servants, invest in health and education, and rebuild basic services. International lenders, once wary, now saw Somalia as a partner, not a pariah. The country gained access to new grants and loans, fueling hopes for real development. But this windfall brings risk, corruption, and weak governance threaten to squander these gains. The government must now prove it can turn macroeconomic progress into real change for its people. Debt relief is a golden key, but what Somalia does with it will determine its future. The true test has only just begun. Amid Somalia's security challenges, Turkey has emerged as its most powerful ally. A sweeping 2024 defense pact made Turkey the main guarantor of Somalia's security, rebuilding the Navy and Coast Guard to secure the nation's vast coastline. This partnership disrupts piracy, illegal fishing, and Al-Shabaab's maritime supply lines, helping Somalia reclaim core state functions. With Turkey's backing, Somalia has gained new diplomatic leverage and confidence on the world stage. Yet deep reliance on Ankara risks entangling Somalia in Turkey's regional rivalries and could limit future flexibility. The challenge: harness Turkish support without surrendering sovereignty. Somalia must ensure this alliance serves its interests first. In early 2024, Ethiopia's deal with Somaliland threatened Somalia's sovereignty, sparking a diplomatic crisis. Mogadishu responded with swift condemnation and rallied support from Egypt and Eritrea, isolating Ethiopia and turning a bilateral dispute into a regional standoff. Somalia's assertive diplomacy, backed by key allies, prevented the deal's implementation and showcased a new strategic maturity. Turkey's mediation led to the Ankara Agreement, shelving Ethiopia's sea access ambitions and de-escalating tensions. For Somalia, it was a rare diplomatic victory: sovereignty defended without violence. Yet the underlying issues remain unresolved. Ethiopia's need for sea access and Somaliland's status still threaten future stability. Somalia's challenge is to maintain vigilance and alliances in a volatile region. Diplomatic winds are fragile. The next crisis may be just over the horizon. The stakes remain high. In Mogadishu, progress is visible. Paved roads, new buildings, and a sense of optimism. Debt relief and international partnerships have brought jobs, investment, and regular salaries for government workers. Citizens feel a renewed national pride, seeing their government stand up to regional powers and deliver real change. For many, especially the youth, hope is returning after decades of chaos. But this progress is mostly confined to the capital and a few urban centers. In rural Somalia, the state's presence is weak. Drought, poverty, and Al-Shabaab dominate daily life. For millions, government victories feel distant and abstract. Security and services are often provided by clan militias or insurgents, not the state. The divide between city and countryside remains Somalia's greatest challenge. As Mogadishu celebrated diplomatic wins, al-Shabaab was regaining ground in the countryside. After setbacks in 2022-23, the militants launched a fierce counter-offensive, reclaiming territory and threatening the capital. The government's failure to secure and govern liberated areas left communities vulnerable and disillusioned. Al-Shabaab exploited this vacuum, negotiating with clan militias and offering security where the state could not. High-profile attacks, including a near miss on the president's motorcade, have shaken public confidence. The Somali National Army is plagued by low morale, clan divisions, and infiltration. Even as Somalia wins in diplomatic halls, it risks losing the war where it matters most, in its villages and fields. The insurgency's resilience is a stark warning. Beneath Somalia's diplomatic gains, political divisions are deepening. President Mohamud's push for constitutional reform and one-person, one-vote elections is seen by some federal states as a power grab. This standoff threatens to delay elections and spark a constitutional crisis, playing into al-Shabaab's hands. Meanwhile, international support is wavering. The African Union's mission faces a funding crisis, and the US and UN may scale back their presence. The government's focus on external threats risks neglecting the urgent need for internal unity. Without consensus among federal states, clans, and civil society, the fight against al-Shabaab is unwinnable. Somalia's fragile coalition is at risk of unraveling just as it needs to hold together most. The clock is ticking. So, is Somalia's diplomatic resurgence a lasting victory or a fleeting illusion? Debt relief. The Turkish alliance and diplomatic wins have given Somalia its best chance in decades. The transformation of Mogadishu and renewed national pride are real, but these successes rest on shaky ground. Limited government reach, political infighting, and a resurgent insurgency. Lasting peace requires more than foreign deals. It demands security, justice, and reconciliation at home. Without addressing these internal weaknesses, today's triumphs could become tomorrow's lost opportunities. Somalia stands at a crossroads. Build on fragile gains or risk another tragic reversal. The world is watching, and so are millions of Somalis, hoping this time will be different.